Welcome back into Wave Listens Live. I'm Michael Vanover, joined now by familiar faces to the program. It's Lindsay Fleming, Senior Vice President of Elder Advisors. Lindsay,
hello.
Welcome in. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
And you have a new face with us today.
A new face.
I'll even let you introduce her.
Okay. Well, you know, Larry is out. He's not feeling well today, so we're just going to let Larry recover at home.
Heal up.
Yeah. So before I introduce my friend here, I want to just kind of tell Kentuckian, because I'm not sure I have before ever shared the story for really everyone at Elder Advisors is a passion project, right? So caring for the seniors in our community, it's a passion project for Larry and for really the whole team. So growing up, my mom was a social worker at a nursing facility. So I was volunteering in skilled nursing cares or nursing homes before I was in kindergarten. So helping with activities and passing trays and, you know, visiting residents in their rooms. I had pen pals. So literally a lifetime of caring and participating in the lives of seniors. So that kind of brings our story a little bit full circle today, because this is Marion Keller. She's a master's level social worker and my mom. And as of today, she calls me boss. So she is new at Elder Advisors. Today's her first day. We're going to just throw her in the deep end with TV.
Right on TV.
Yeah.
First day. How do you like it? I mean,
First day.
It's exciting first day at least, right?
There you go. It is.
Yeah, no shortage of being boring. So what I have found since in the last year and a half I've been working with Larry is the need is great. You know, I mean, people just need help navigating the healthcare system. So we all know about Don't Go Broke in a Nursing Home. We all know about kind of some of the financial things that Larry's done for, you know, 26 years in our community, and I was able to bring something additional to that, kind of a different expertise. And the caseload got big, y'all. I mean, people just needed help.
Right.
So
more people needed help.
That's a little bit about what Marianne, and she can tell you a little bit more about what she's going to be doing.
Yeah, that'd be great. When you hear your daughter say that, and you hear about how, you know, she's been around it for so long, what's it like to join forces with her, to be part of Elder Advisors, and how excited are you to help those folks?
I am so excited. I've been talking to her about this for over a year. Yeah, you'll need to hire your mom one of these days. So, you know, it has come to fruition. So I'm really excited and happy. And I've been on a couple of visits with some of her clients, and I realize there's so much I'm going to learn from her, and that's super exciting.
Absolutely. That's very fun, very cool, very unique. Lindsay, if you would, you know, as you know, we know about Don't Go Broke in a Nursing Home, and we know about all the great services that you provide, but you said it earlier, so many people need help, and they need different kinds of help. They may need some of this and not as much. Talk about how you kind of do have customized options for people, and you meet them where they are, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we talk about all this at the workshop. So the workshops are coming up next week, and we touch a little bit about all this, but Elder Advisors is growing and diversifying and getting even better at the things we've always done. But we ask sort of 3 questions in the workshop, and you don't have to be honest with us, but you have to be honest with yourself. And it's like, are you in crisis? So I have a loved one in rehab at a nursing home. Things are not great at home. We've fallen again, reoccurring infections, that kind of stuff. That's crisis planning, and we've got a plan for that. Okay. And then it's somebody is like, maybe I can see I'm trying to be proactive. Mom's not going to be able to be at home by herself in the next year or 2. That's pre-crisis planning. We've got a plan for that. And then there's the third, which is a lot of folks, Michael, they're just sick and tired of getting their financial statements, right? And it's like going down and down and down, their IRAs or whatever. And we have options that Larry discusses at the workshop that really address what we call green money and retirement money, and making sure that when you're moving into your golden years that you can hold on to everything that you have. You know, we're not subject to losing money in the market or this thing or that thing or, God forbid, crypto or whatever it is. It's about crafting a conservative approach so folks money lasts through retirement. The cost of aging is extremely high, and if you guys don't know, the average nursing home is like $9,000. Lots of in-home care options, but those are expensive as well. So we're just helping families make the most of the resources they've spent their life earning.
Well, and as you said, if you don't have a plan, that money can go quick.
It does.
I mean, just do the math. $9,000 a month is...
It's about
It doesn't take long. I mean,
I'm not going to math on TV, but it's over $100,000 a year.
I think that's 108.
That's that. We're going to go with that. That sounds good. But
right.
It is. It's over $100,000 a year, and there are resources available. And I tell this to clients all the time. There's a about one way it works for you. And the way it works for you is different than the way it works for your neighbor or whatever.
Sure.
Each plan is unique. But there's about one way it works. And, anywhere between 100,000 and 500,000 ways it can go wrong. And so we're really just about helping Kentuckiana, working with folks on both sides of the river, Indiana and Kentucky, preserve the assets that they've worked their entire life. And it's too important, right? To go it alone. There's some things you can I'm just going to do that myself because it's insignificant. Paint the powder room bathroom. I'm just going to paint the bathroom myself because if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. But your life savings, your earnings, your legacy is too important to go at it without a team of professionals.
Well, and you're talking about families too, right? I mean, obviously you're talking about senior loved ones, but then their kids feel that financial pressure if that money, it's layered, and you want to make sure you protect your family as well.
Yeah. There's a connection here about how I'm teaming up with my mom, and adult children should team up with their parents and come to the workshop together. There's a connection there. I'm not making it very eloquently, but
so let's talk about the workshops. Let's hit the specifics.
Yeah. So Monday, March the 6th at 10 a.m., Hilton Garden Inn near the Louisville Airport. That's right there off Crenton Drive. Come on in. They're fun, guys. They're fun. They're fun. They're fast paced. It's an hour and a half of your time. You can leave and never call us again. That's fine. Or you might learn some things, right? Tuesday, March the 7th at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville. And those are really close, guys. So if you're in Kentucky and can't make Monday, come Tuesday. And if you're in Indiana and can't make Tuesday, come Monday. It's really close on either side of the river. But Monday and Tuesday, freeworkshop.com. freeworkshop.com or call 855-LARRY-55. Suzanne's our house manager. She's phenomenal. She usually will pick up the phone. But 855-LARRY-55, freeworkshop.com. Do it now, Kentuckiana. I know you want to.
Do it now. That's right. I mean, if you're thinking about it, you've been putting it off, this is an opportunity to do it. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a no-threat way, right? It's like you don't have to give us any personal information. We're not asking for anything. Just for you to come out and sit with us for, an hour and a half. It's completely non-threatening. It's just, you can take some notes and, turn around and walk out. But we would love to have folks. It's fun. Ugh, I know this stuff is it's not fun. She's lying.
No,
It is. I mean,
well,
it is.
if you've met you and Larry, there's a lot of energy between them.
It is. And this is tough stuff, right? Yeah. And Larry says that all the time. This is tough stuff. Barbershop laws around there. So all kinds of people have been talking about, and God bless them, the little ladies at the coffee club and at church and all of that stuff. They're so sweet and they mean well. But, just like I said earlier, the plan we did for that person is different for the plan we're going to do.
Exactly.
And it's like, we're going to lose the house, or we have to cash in this or do this, or I'm going to do this, or I have to write. It might all be wrong. It might all be wrong. I don't know. So I think it's a good opportunity for folks to come in.
But it's a reset, and they can come in and they can learn and ask the questions that they have. Marianne, while I have you on here, you talk about how excited you are to work, at Elder Advisors. But what are some of the things that you see not only Lindsay do, but others there that just really was the draw for you to come on board? And what are you most excited about doing?
Well, I am a master's level social worker, and I've worked with seniors in health and senior living for over 40 years. But I kind of got away from it. I did a nursing home administration, and so I'm getting back to my roots of my social work. I'm a people person, and I like to be face-to-face, and if I can help people with resources and navigating through tough times, I'm all about that.
Well, you'll fit right in then. You'll fit right in with this team.
She has the experience. She's been in the nursing facility. She's been in assisted living.
She's seen both sides. I mean, that's huge.
Exactly.
Tons of value there. Yeah, absolutely.
And she brings her own contacts and resources, and that's what we're trying to do at Elder Advisors is just grow the network.
Absolutely.
We get a lot of tax questions this time of year. Listen, we're not accountants. We don't know. But we have partners that we know and that we trust, and we suggest those clients call those partners. Same thing, we're not a real estate attorney, we're not a real estate agent, we're not attorneys, but we have partnerships in the community with people that we know, love, and trust that are going to take care of our clients, because very important.
No doubt. And before we let you go, we got to hit the...
Yes, come to the workshop. Monday, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn off Crittenden Drive. Tuesday, March the 7th at 10 a.m. At Hampton Inn. This is really fast, guys, so if you don't get a chance to write it down, call 855-LARRY55. Pick up the phone right now. Come on, dial it, 855-LARRY55 or freeworkshop.com, freeworkshop.com. And
Easy to remember.
We'll look forward to seeing everybody out there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, well, thank you both for being here. We really appreciate it. Very nice to meet you.
You as well.
Day one. I wonder what you're going to be doing day two.
I'm gonna go take some Girl Scout cookies. Y'all are gonna be short of bucks.
If they're missing, then we know where they went.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. When we come back, we've got more to get to on Wave Listens Live. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back into Wave Listens Live. I'm Michael Vanover, joined now by some very special guests. We always love having Larry Weiss, owner president of Elder Advisors.
Hello, living room.
There he is. He's back. And then Lindsay Fleming again joining us today, Senior Vice President of Elder Advisors. Welcome back in.
Michael, we had to get a couple things cleared up.
Okay, all right.
You know, I thought Lindsay and Marianne did a great job.
I agree.
I thought Lindsay was flat yesterday, but I thought Marianne pulled it through. Thankfully, Marianne did a great job. Lindsay was flat and boring.
No, she was great.
Boring.
Lindsay's always
I'm asleep right now with her sitting next to me.
Yeah.
You know,
HR? HR complaint.
Okay. John O'Brien is a super nice guy. I think he's the sanitation engineer here at the warehouse building or something like that, right?
That would be the general manager.
So he takes me into his office and he's like, Larry, I'm all about technology because, you know, Lindsay said you're a dinosaur and stuff. And John's showing me his Abacus, his Commodore 64 computer, and then he's got all these tapes. I'm like, what's these tapes? Beta's coming back. Beta's coming back. And I just kind of left, and he was like, Beta's coming back. I'm like, John O'Brien, station manager, Wave 3? I don't know, I expected more.
I don't know about that.
John O'Brien, step it up.
I don't know about this.
We appreciate John. We appreciate the Wave hospitality. It's so good. It is really, truly good to be here.
We do our best to roll out the red carpet.
It is. It's so nice, and we feel that. We feel that. We feel that. So John,
I'm
the
feeling
whole team
chills.
does great.
Well, thank you.
I'm feeling ice from you.
Let's talk about Elder Advisors.
Don't go broke in the nursing home, because you don't have to.
Now, Larry, I thought she was great yesterday, by the way.
Thank
Lindsay,
you. Thank you.
But we were talking about the upcoming parties that you guys are having.
They are parties.
You see what I did?
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see what I did there?
Upcoming
I thought you'd like
parties.
that. I say that.
That is fantastic.
It was very festive.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Just like LA and I are very festive.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
All right, so tell us what you got coming up.
Don't go broke in the nursing home because you don't have to, Michael. We're doing our March workshops pretty much 10 a.m. for both days now. People seem to respond better to the 10 a.m.s.
Okay.
So Monday in Louisville at 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn on Crittenden Drive, right off exit 132 on 65 by the Cracker Barrel. And for the Hoosiers, or as Lindsay says, for the people that can't make it on Monday, they're welcome to cross the bridge 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Clarksville. Don't go broke in nursing home because you don't have to.
Well, we've heard that for a long time with you, but I think it's so important every time because we do have new viewers every day. When you say that, let's elaborate a little bit more on all the services that Elder Advisors provides.
Well, first I have to break through the barbershop law, Michael, because so many, there's always a couple empty chairs at the workshop. And those chairs that aren't occupied are because those are people that have simply resigned themselves. Nothing can be done. Because the sad thing is we kind of live in a negative society. We thrive on the bad energy. And those people that don't come, the reason those chairs are empty is because they've succumbed to it, because they've been convinced by their friends and the people at church that nothing can be done. When Uncle Fred went through, they lost the house, the cars, everything else. And that might have happened. It probably did because they didn't engage Elder Advisors. But it doesn't have to happen because for husband and wife, we can protect all the assets. For a single person, about half the assets. And that's in a crisis plan. if we're doing pre-planning, we can even do so much more. But it starts with the first step.
And you talk about crisis planning, Lindsay, if you would elaborate a little bit on that, because I think there's people watching right now that are saying, well, we should have done that years ago. It's never too late, and talk about that.
It's never too late. So the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. I wish I would have planted some there. But the next best time is today. It's right now. And, you know, there is whatever's been paid out or the high cost of aging that you guys have already spent, we can't help. But today, engaging us and coming to the workshop, we can save, you know, for a single person, half of what's left, and for a married couple, everything. I mean, we can protect 100% of the assets, and people are like, they don't get it, they don't understand it. But it's real. It's real, and it's about knowing the nuances, and we don't know how we can help you until you come into the workshop, get some of the information. But it's good news. It is good news. And I think Larry's right. There's this negative energy, and we live in the space of, well, that won't work for me or what. And it will, though. I mean, it does. And we do this every single day, every single week for hundreds, probably at this point, thousands of clients, is protect their assets against, whether it's the nursing home or even home health care. Because let's talk about that. Don't go broke in a nursing home. It gets expensive even before you're there, right? Even before crisis planning, it gets expensive. And there are all kinds of living arrangements, solutions and resources available on these benefits in the home, in assisted living. We have one of our assisted living partners coming on with us the next segment. And, you know, it's not just don't go broke in a nursing home. It's call sooner than that, you know, because don't go broke by just paying for aging. It's expensive.
You know, and Larry, if you would talk a little bit about, you all have a lot of relationships in this town. You know a lot of people. Again, you have somebody coming up next we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Talk about not only all the relationships, why that's important to your clients, and really the vision of the company in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, you know, I'm all about vision. I'm all about...
You did it. I wasn't even paying attention.
I worked it in.
You did really good. You know, the funny thing is, you know, vision, unlike for Lindsay, vision's a 4-letter word. You know, she doesn't believe in it. It's a profane word. That's a potty word. But I'm all about vision, because for me, vision is victory. So I'm all about vision. But, you know, we surround ourselves with top talent. You know, oftentimes there's questions of a tax issue. Well, I'm not a lumberjack. Well, Lindsay's husband is AJ. Hi, AJ. But I'm not a CPA. Terry Graham at DMO Accounting, Mike Connell. They field the questions on the tax issues. Okay. Real estate issues. I was on the phone with Jeff Hurst this morning with Remax Properties East, and he was helping me on some property this morning. So I surround myself with talent because I don't know everything, but I certainly surround myself with people that do. I'm also not an attorney. We're delighted to have Bob Marshall come back for the Kentucky folk next week for Kentucky, and Laura Williams for the Indiana, because there's almost always a legal component. Just as I'm not a lumberjack, I'm not a UPS pilot. I'm not an attorney.
Well, and here's a perfect example. I have a family that I'm working with. Husband has dementia and is several years older than wife, and wife is looking to downsize. So I referred somebody that I know, that I love, that I trust, would trust with my own family members, Jenny with Calming the Clutter, and she's going over and she's going to help her downsize an entire life, an entire, you know, just the clutter, right, of aging and things like that. But that's, you know, what Jenny does and what we do don't really have anything to do with each other than the fact that we're serving the same very vulnerable population, and that's adult children that are stressed out, with elderly parents or spouses that are stressed out with their ill spouse. And so that's just another great example of how we use our network and our resources to benefit our clients.
Well, and 2 points. First, point number 1, please have AJ return my call. He's not taking my calls. I'm feeling very threatened by that. And number 2, the very skill set, the story, the narrative that Lindsay was sharing is a perfect example of the vision that I've envisioned, because we bring other services to help families.
Well, and again, that's the end goal, to help your clients. It's all vision is victory, right?
Thank you. We've got a vision from Larry.
Hey, we have a guest coming up next. You want to tee it up before we go to break?
I'm going to let Lindsay. This is her show.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to bring out Rich from River Crossing. So he is a great partner, and we're just excited to have him on. And so we're ready to have him on.
All right, more with Larry.
He's got vision.
And Rich when we come back. We'll be right back.
Vision
on Wave Listens Live. Stay with us. Welcome back into Wave
so much
Listens
help.
Live. I'm Michael Vanover, joined now by, of course, Larry Weiss.
Larry Weiss. Hello,
Lindsay
Kentuckiana.
Fleming, and now Rich Peterson is joining us.
Rich,
as promised.
we
Rich
are
Peterson.
complete. This is our vision for the future.
This is the team. Speaking of vision, we were talking about having Rich on the program, the relationships you have in the market. One thing I was asking you before we went to break, or at break, I should say. You talk about don't go broke in a nursing home. That doesn't mean you're anti-nursing home.
No,
that
not
means
at
you actually
all.
have a lot of. I mean, look who you brought. So talk a little bit about that, will you?
Well, fundamentally, the lights need to be paid, the staff need to be paid. So we work well within the rules. Everything is disclosed. And the interesting thing, which you very succinctly brought to the point, was the facilities recognize that as well. They don't really care who the source of pay is. They just want paid.
Sure.
So when the families work with us, there's 8 of us at our company, plus the attorneys to hold their hand and make sure this is done, hopefully correctly every month, so everybody is paid. And that's why we're doing our workshops next Monday and Tuesday. Don't go broke in a nursing home. But Lindsay has a great point that I want to kind of make available for the people, certainly in Indiana. And with that, I'm going to let Lindsay go with it.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a benefit of engaging elder advisor. We've talked about our relationships and things like that. Autumn, our placement angel, who's not here today, she has had massive success doing placements. And I just came. This is a true story. I just came from a facility visiting a woman who has just settled in there this week, and she said, "Did you do this?" Because historically, this particular facility has a waiting list of a year or more. And I don't want to say yes, but also yes. I made the phone call. I kind of cut through the tape, and a lot of these facilities love working with professionals like us. And one of these facilities is not a nursing home, but an assisted living, which is totally different. I'll let Rich talk a little bit about that and introduce himself and what he at River Crossing has to offer that's really different than what folks in Kentucky and may think is available to them.
Yeah, at River Crossing, we just specialize in being a welcoming place for all of our residents, so that they have a comfortable place to live, to just enjoy company, each other's activities, and continue to live. Just because you go into a nursing home or assisted living doesn't mean your life is over. It's just the next step.
It's the next chapter, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Chapter.
Yeah, it really is.
And Marianne has a phenomenal story. I'll let her tell sometime online or on TV. But we find, and this is my experience in the last, and Rich probably as well, in the last 15 years of my working career, the quality of life goes up. Nobody wants to go to a nursing home or assisted living. Everybody wants to stay in their home and age in place, and I get that. I honor that. But when you are in a place like River Crossing and Charlestown, and you've got 3 prepared hot meals a day, you've got socialization, you're having conversations about bingo or Vietnam or the good old days, your quality of life goes up. And that's what Rich is able to offer at River Crossing, and that's what many of these facilities in our area offer, is a alternative to being in your home. I understand being in your home, I get that, but it's usually lonely, it's isolating, folks aren't eating well, they're not taking their medications correctly, and when you engage the services of elder advisors or a community like River Crossing, the quality of life goes up.
Sure.
Their life gets better.
Which is what it's about.
Yep.
That's what it's about. Rich, if you would, tell me a little bit more about who. This sounds great over at River Crossing. Who can live there? Take me through the process a little bit. What makes it unique?
We look at everybody on a case-by-case basis, and age isn't a factor necessarily. It's their what they need. Their needs are. We really want to have a place where people feel welcomed environment. We are a family environment. I know everybody's name. When walking down the hall, I'll say hello to them by name.
Oh, that's a good picture. Look at that.
There you go. There's
like
the
that?
play.
That's a great picture. I love that.
So it really is that family atmosphere. And again, and you
Very much.
said it so well earlier, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, and it's really about continuing to live. So somebody watching right now, Rich, who's saying, you know what, this place sounds like it could be for my loved one or for even me, what would you tell them, and what's the best way for them to come and check out the place?
Best way is to come and make a phone call, set up an appointment, come and check the place. You need to see the place with your eyes. You need to smell the place and just kind of experience what we have to offer. We're not the newest building in the area. I'll be first to say that, but probably the most friendly building in the area.
Friendly matters.
And it
Friendly
feels-
matters.
I love, you know, I have experience in all of the facilities here locally, but I love about River Crossing is it does very much feel like home. It is a place. Some of the places in this, some of the places you go in and they're new and shiny and all that stuff, and it feels like one of those like home garden homes. It's like, oh, I feel like I can't move in this because it's just
Sterile.
uppity and fancy and like sterile. And River Crossing just feels like home. Like it just truly does feel like home when you're there and you're walking the halls and you can tell the staff is engaged and the clients and residents are engaged as well.
That's important.
And I'm the least capable person on this panel to make this statement, but doing this 26 years, I have found that more often than not, a lot of times the sooner we get someone to an assisted living community, that maybe they can stay there and be their forever home and not wait till the tires come off and it's a big cataclysmic, terrible situation, and then they get straight to long-term care, and then it's the nightmare everyone has feared. So, you know, and River Crossing is a very homey, friendly environment. I've been there many times. So, you know, I'm struggling with my own parents right now. It's the TV, and it can get a lot more from assisted living.
I love that.
And I think it's about, for the community, and I want Kentuckiana to hear me say this, it's about engaging resources on the very front end of you needing them, or even before. And we do, that's exactly right. We find, and Rich can probably speak to this, but when you find yourself in assisted living, before you're completely, your health's declined so much from the isolation of being home alone, you have a better quality of life and a better quantity of life. And you're in one place because you offer the support.
It is definitely a place where if you want to go someplace where you can continue to have life, you want to start that sooner than later, so you can enjoy the extra things,
Very nice.
the trips out to the community that we do.
The Cracker Barrel.
The Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
All of it.
All of it. The shopping trips, that kind of thing. You know, when you're bedbound, it's kind of hard to enjoy that kind of stuff. But if you can get involved prior to that, that really helps.
All right, hey, we get about 10 seconds.
see
Hit
it.
the workshop one more
Dunbar
time.
Nursing Home, Monday, 10 a.m. Louisville, Hilton Garden Inn. Tuesday, March 7th, Hampton Inn, Clarksville, off Broadway. Don't go broke in Nursing Home. You don't have to.
Pick up the phone, 855, letter 55.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, AJ.
Thanks for
I
joining
love
us
you.
today. John's back tomorrow on Wave Listens.
Okay, it's something you may have put on the back burner. Don't procrastinate, because if you don't know the rules, it can happen to you. You can go broke in a nursing home. It's real. Don't go broke in a nursing home. That is the slogan. That is what they live by. That's the mission of Elder Advisors. Mr. Larry Weiss is here. He is the owner and president of Elder Advisors. Larry, looking very sharp. Love the suit.
I dressed for you, John, and Tammy McNeil, our producer. You know, Tammy is a large part of the success of Wave 3.
No
and certainly
question.
Wave 3 listens live at noon with John Ramsey. But kudos to Tammy McNeil. We love you, Tammy. You are the best.
She is the best, yeah.
It's a great family here at Wave 3. Not a big fan of the station manager, John O'Brien. I think he can bring his game up a little bit next time. John, step it up. But other than that, I think we're in pretty good shape.
Okay, I may get canned if I comment on that.
We
yeah.
love John O'Brien.
Yeah, we do.
He is a
We
sweet,
do.
he's a very genuine man.
Yes, he
He's
is.
a good guy. He always says hi to us in the hallways and stuff. Makes you
He
feel
is,
part of the
yes.
family, which everybody at Wave does.
There
So
we go.
thank you, John O'Brien.
Well, thank you for what you do for this community. And for those who aren't aware, I always say a little elevator speech on exactly what Elder Advisor stands for. It is about really legal. There's so many layers.
Right.
I remember when we first began, it's like, hey, let's save you some money. That's a great goal. But it's more than that now.
It is, because in a nutshell, John, what Elder Advisors does is we help families transition their loved ones from their homes to home health care, assisted living, or long-term care using financial and legal strategies to protect assets so they don't go broke in a nursing home.
And it can happen.
It can, and it often does, and it's very sad.
I think anyone, I'm that age where my mother's getting up there.
John, I will not stand for you diminishing your role in the community. You're a good-looking man. Don't do it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, John.
Appreciate that. Larry's always got my back. I appreciate you. But I'm at that age where my mom's getting up there. And many of my friends, same situation. You and I are approximately the same age or so. So when that happens, don't put it on the back burner, because they tell horror stories about paying $10,000 to $12,000 a month because they don't know the rules. So if you do have the strategies you talk about, and you're offering them to folks through workshops, so tell them exactly, not exactly, because that's the secret sauce.
It is.
But tell them what you can help them with.
Well, it's a financial component, John, because for husband and wife, if one spouse goes into care, we can protect pretty much all the assets. If it's a single person, we can protect about half of the assets. I'm not an attorney. I'm also not a lumberjack or a fireman. I do the estate planning. I do the financial part. There's almost always a legal component, so we always make sure the families are, have attorneys to work with to do that legal part if and when it is needed. But on a financial, so many things can be done, but it starts always, for me, with the power of attorney. I'm not an attorney. I don't prepare documents. I refer people to attorneys. But for me to be able to protect his assets, whether it's a husband and wife that have been married 50 years, or it's a 50-year-old son, he's here with his 75-year-old dad, they need to have the authority to do these things. So for me to work within the rules, of course, to move the assets to comply for benefits, I have to have the building block of a power of attorney. And sadly, so many people in Kentucky don't have a power of attorney, and you know who you are.
Okay, there's one takeaway. Now, I mentioned that I've heard some stories, but you do it for a living. You've heard a lot of stories. So maybe tell me about some of the mistruths, the falsehoods that you've heard that people believed before they put their loved one in a senior living facility. And it comes back to haunt you. It'll bite you.
Well, one of the big problems out there is the family will come in, the kids will come in, and they'll say, well, 2-3 years ago, we went ahead and just deeded the house, mom and dad's house, to the kids, but we reserved a life estate for mom and dad. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm dealing with the financial and the real estate issues. But when there's a life estate left on the deed, then that's something we have to circle back and get to the attorneys to fix, because that's a problem, because that demonstrates an ownership interest, and that's how the state treats it. And a lot of times families don't know that, and it's just a big train wreck. So, when the legal components come up, I always refer them to the attorneys because I'm not an attorney. But a lot of people have this false belief, this false sense of security that we're in good shape. The attorney deeded the house to the kids 2-3 years ago. Well, when we look at it, we kind of pull the onions back, the layers of the onions, to realize we've got a problem. We've got a problem. And my free tidbit for today, for everybody in Kentuckiana, even if mom and dad are doing great and stuff, Easter's coming up, go get copies. This is my takeaway, Kentuckiana, because the workshops are the first week of April. Monday in Louisville, Tuesday in Corydon, and Friday we're going down to Bardstown, Nelson County. I'll be at Mamie's for lunch. Love Nelson County, Bardstown. So I'll be down near the end of the week on April, the first week of April. But if you can at least make photocopies of the mundane things, dad's driver's license, front and back copy, please, the Social Security card, their Medicare card, their health supplement card, the RX card, those little pocketbook things. And my mom had a UTI nearly 2 years ago. And, you better believe I got all the financials lined up. But I didn't think about the minutia of what I call the pocketbook or the billfold things. So when I was over there dealing with home health and stuff like that with the nurses and the therapy and stuff, because mom was in the hospital, we thought we were going to lose her because she wasn't drinking enough water. Hey, drink water. Hydrate. It's amazing what drinking water can do for people. Really, it is. But I made copies of all their stuff, because if I ever have to file for benefits and stuff, those are the things they ask for. And what happens is, if someone's in a nursing home or they're in an emergency room in a hospital and our hair's on fire and stuff, sometimes we lost mom's purse. We can't find dad's wallet, and that's where all the stuff is.
Yeah.
So it gets real hard to reconstruct that after the fact. So my Christmas gift, my Easter gift to families is make copies of that stuff now and keep it in a safe place, because if you need it, it's better to have it, not need it. And not have it.
It's better to be proactive and get ahead of all this, because it's an emotional time, and especially if something happens to mom or dad. Knock on wood, we hope it does not, but let's say they're incapacitated or can't communicate well. If you don't have everything squared away, it can be a disaster. Yeah. A lot of drama, a lot of emotion, and that's what's great about elder advisors. Is it's not just, don't get me wrong, the financial component is important, but it's the peace of mind, isn't it?
It is, and just we tell the families, you become a client for life. They get our cell phone numbers. We make ourselves available. We've never been busier. There's 8 of us now at Elder Advisors. Lindsay and Marianne pretty much handle the patient advocacy, because I didn't know it at the time until Lindsay came on, but I was a financial advocate. But now there's a lot of things that we can do while they're still at home, kind of helping with the transition, maybe getting some home health care options and stuff that wasn't available. So that's really one of the things that Lindsay and Marianne, board certified patient advocate and master level social worker, bring to the table as we continue to grow Elder Advisors to help families.
Okay, you guys have tentacles going everywhere. So
good tentacles.
And it's all good.
No medicine needed.
So
good tentacles.
Before we go to break here, coming up, Mr. Greg Jackson. Tell me about Greg.
Greg Jackson is a delight, and for years I've been telling you I circle myself with talent, whether it's the attorneys, the accountants, the CPAs, the realtors, and we have such a great relationship with Riverbend in Southern Indiana because they have a great, unique property and with a great benefit. But I'm not going to steal anymore. I'll let Greg Jackson.
Okay.
Talk about it.
So there you go. There's the tease right there. Greg Jackson is coming up. We'll talk about Riverbend and what he offers at his facility and more with Larry Weiss as well. We'll be right back after these on Wave Listen. He is the executive director of Riverbend Assisted Living Facility. His name is Greg Jackson, but I want you to do more than that. Do a proper introduction, Larry, if you would. He deserves more than that.
Greg really is one of the top talent that I affiliate myself with. As I said earlier, whether it's the accountants or the realtors or whatever. But Greg is at Riverbend now, and I'm going to let him really talk about it. But what's really unique, and we've said this on the show quite a few times, is, and I do believe this, and I'm the least qualified person to make this statement, but I think the sooner we can get some of our loved ones in an assisted living community, the better for all kinds of reasons. Because so many people, like my parents, are in denial and they're hell-bent to stay in their house, and then problems start happening. Well, then it's a short skip over to long-term care where, I get tired of going home to my parents and the TV's up loud and their only babysitter and their only interaction is gun smoke 12 hours a day. Or if they could get into assisted living, I think they just have a better quality of life, and Riverbend really excels at that. So I'm delighted Greg was able to join us today because he can do a much better job talking about that than I can.
Yeah, Greg, let's talk about that. I like, because I've been in some of these senior facilities and encouraging activities, encouraging being social. Talk about that at Riverbend.
Absolutely. We have a great community. We actually have a main house, which is 62 apartments for assisted living. And then we have a memory care cottage called Magnolia Trails. And there's fantastic activities going on all day long in both houses. And we're so pleased about that. Helps keep everyone at their baseline, and it continues to affirm a great quality of life, because that's what we want for our residents, is to make sure that they're not missing out on life. If there are any cognitive deficits, we want to make sure that we're meeting those to keep them at a great baseline and to enjoy life every day. So we are programmed to have exciting activities. We have guest speakers, entertainers come in, and not only that, we have a fantastic staff. So it's great to go to work every morning with people who are engaged, who are compassionate and passionate about the people they serve.
Yeah, everyone wants that from mom and dad, and of course mom and dad want that as well, is happy, be happy, and it seems you offer that at Riverbend. So let's talk a little bit about the bricks and mortar. Where are you located? Larry said beautiful campus. Talk about that.
Beautiful campus. We are located at 2715 Charlestown Pike in Jeffersonville, Indiana. There's a great picture of it right there. That's our main house. And once again, we have a cottage for memory care behind that. It's important to know that we have that memory care as well, because they work very hard to help mom or dad or uncle, aunt, make sure that they have great quality of life with the program that we have there as well. So make sure you give us a call. We're in Jeffersonville, Indiana, 812-280-0960. We'd be happy to, 0965. We'd be happy to see you and take you on a tour.
So yeah, talk about that, Greg. If mom or dad want to go on the tour, how many can the family members come as well? Are the doors open to family members? members?
The doors are open to anyone that wants to come. We say the more the merrier. We love for everyone to see what's happening at any given day. They can come Sunday through Saturday. Anytime we'll take them through, bring relatives, friends. We like everyone to see what we do and what we have to offer.
I would think this is good for you, Larry, and that, you know, the fact that there's an emphasis on memory care helps you, because sometimes they come to you and you say, my mom, there's some dementia, maybe my dad, whatever, and you say, well, I've got a facility that really concentrates on that.
Absolutely. And Riverbend really does check all the boxes for our families and the clients that we do with that. We have a number of families there now. But the one thing I want to talk a little bit about, I'm going to bring it back to Greg, is with Indiana, they offer the Medicaid waiver for assisted living, because the thought concept is, you know, you've got to go to the nursing home in order to get benefits. In Indiana, you have the option of finding participating communities, which Riverbend does, to help with the Medicaid waiver. And I think that's a great segue back to Greg to kind of fill in the details on that, because just kudos to Riverbend, because it is just an incredibly nice campus, and they do help families transition on that.
So talk about that. See, this is interesting. This is more of that information that Elder Advisors
I'm
offers.
not just an empty suit, John Ramsey. Come on.
I did not know this. So how does that work in Indiana? It's different. Is that right?
A little different. So we have private pay residents they have too many assets at this point to qualify for the program. But once you qualify for the Medicaid waiver program, your rent is based in a totally different criteria, and then you are open to a lot more services. You can have a caregiver come in during the week. Transportation is provided for you. So there are a lot of opportunities that Lifespan in Indiana offers for those that are a part of the waiver program. So we're proud to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, I'm curious about availability. You know, that's been tough, especially during COVID. We talked about how hard placement was, and I know Elder Advisors helps with that.
Struggling with that.
How's it going at Riverbend? I know you guys are a lot of happy people. Is there availability?
There is availability. We have a few apartments open in both the memory care and the assisted living. So we've had about 10 tours this week, and probably have 10 more next week. So come out while the getting's good.
Yeah, the importance of contacts, like Mr. Jackson here. That's really what Elder Advisors does well, is because I was not aware of his facility. I didn't know they had memory care. This is the kind of things people need to know, right?
Absolutely. What Greg alluded to a few moments ago was just talking about, you know, if a family's in a spin down where they're privately paying, then they can help qualify. Well, hello, Kentuckiana. Welcome to Elder Advisors. We can help you with that. 855-LARRY-55. freeworkshop.com, elderadvisors.com. We help you qualify for those benefits.
And
that's all part of what we do.
If I could quickly say,
Sure.
I'm not just an actor, I'm a client. So Larry helped me out with my father. My stepmother had dementia. My father waited till the last minute. It was a crisis situation, and Larry and his team went above and beyond what was expected, and for that, our family will always be eternally grateful to him. So I can vouch for his integrity and the integrity of his team as well. So you must get in contact, plan before you're in a crisis mode.
Wow, Greg, that's good advice. That may be the most important thing that we've discussed here, because you've been through the experience, and I think there's a lot of folks, if you had to do it all over again, you'd have contacted Larry
much sooner.
Much sooner.
Much sooner. I think a lot of people, that we just deny the fact that that's going to happen to a family member. We don't think about those things until they're upon us, and when it's upon us, it's late in the game. It can still happen, but it's late in the game.
Wow. Larry, you mentioned the fact you don't have a workshop until April.
Yeah, first week April, 3rd
In the
and 4th,
meantime, what if someone's in the situation of Mr. Jackson here, who they're in crisis mode? Call, right? It's never too late. It's not too late.
855-LARRY-55. It answers all of your questions. It really does. You can go to freeworkshop.com and register for the April workshops. And don't forget, we're going to be in Bardstown, Nelson County. I'm probably going to have lunch at Mamie's.
Oh, I've been there.
Nelson County.
I do.
Love it. John, don't glum on my star power, baby. Come on. I've been there. I said it first.
We're opening on an opening act as well. Hopefully, I'll be opening for the tour.
All right.
So
oh, good.
Keep
All
your
right.
eyes and ears open.
That's right, Kentucky. Don't go broke in a nursing home. You don't have to.
So when you do these workshops, Larry, I'm curious. You always have experts available, like Mr. Jackson.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's the legal side of it. So it's really to give people answers, direct answers to their questions. And there is, folks, when you go to these workshops, a Q&A, which is nice.
Absolutely.
But there's nothing like one-on-one.
Right.
So if you want, everyone has I guess everyone's circumstance is different. So the one-on-one, you're not going to beat that.
Right. No. Right. And it's worth an hour of your time. We're pretty much just doing the 10 o'clocks now. We kind of got away from the 6 o'clocks later in the day in traffic and stuff. So it's really really been working to do the 10 a.m.s. But yeah, we'll be doing the workshops the first week of April. You can go to freeworkshop.com and register. The Bardstown's on there. Did I mention Bardstown, Nelson, Kentucky? Yeah, baby. Love Bardstown.
Well, Greg Jackson, I enjoyed meeting you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity.
Executive Director of Riverbend Living Facility. And Larry, always a pleasure.
John Ramsey, you're my star, baby, right here. I don't go anywhere else.
Say that with sincerity, Larry.
You are my star. You're the wind beneath my wings.
Okay, thank you.
You're Kentuckian's erstwhile TV personality.
Appreciate you, Larry.
You are to TV what Kevin is to weather.
Ooh, boy, that's a big statement. What Kevin is to weather. Wow. Okay, coming up here, we're going to talk about what's happening. Don't forget, though, elder advisors, if you are in crisis mode, call them. Hey, I'd rather you be proactive and get ahead of it. Call elder advisors. We'll take a break, and we'll return with Dawn G, a little preview of what's happening at 2 o'clock on Wave Country.
Word of the day, drama.
Welcome back to Wave Listens Live. He is a friend of the show, a very familiar guest, both of them, Larry Weiss and Lindsay Fleming.
I'm Larry Weiss.
The dream team over at Elder Advisors.
Team. Yay!
This is, I don't know if Larry remembers this, because as much fun as we have here, Larry gets really serious when it comes to the clients, and so does Lindsay with all their clients.
Don't go broke in a nursing home.
That this is coming up quickly on the 5-year anniversary of Elder Advisors being on Wave Listens Live.
Oh, this would be a great moment if I loved you, Lindsay, but I don't. I love her husband, AJ. He is delicious. Love you, buddy. Wait a minute.
He's watching today.
Wait. Something is missing here today from the set. Did you get your hair cut? I think you got your hair cut.
I've got all of my
Okay, what's a good-looking haircut?
Thank you. I've been working on it now for 34 years.
I've got a hairbrush in the green room
I love your shoes. At some point, Kentucky, we're going to get around to talking about how we can help you. Let's get through all this other stuff first.
What they do love more than anything else are the great calls and the great referrals they get and the happy clients they have at Elder Advisors, because at the end of the day, they have fun while doing a really, really good job protecting your assets.
Check out our Google reviews.
Check out those.
125.
Yep.
But what I'm excited about is you all are here because it means there are more workshops coming up. There are more opportunities for the people watching to go to one of these workshops and learn that it is the perfect time, or at the very least, it's not too late to start protecting their assets.
It's never too late. It really is never too late. The biggest challenge that we have with families when they come out to the workshops, there's always 1 or 2 empty chairs. And I'll point to those chairs and go, there's a reason why someone isn't taking that chair, because they've taken to the barbershop law that nothing can be done, it's too late. You know, our evil neighbor Tracy told us all this bad stuff and it's just not working, and they're just so distraught. So there's some people that succumb to that, but you don't have to, and it's good news. That's why we do the workshops. We're doing them next Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Nelson County, we're coming. Bardstown, Nelson County, next Friday. So we're already getting Eventbrite registrations. Special shout out to Bill Reynolds at Element 502. You're doing a good job, William. You should do better, harder work. But he's doing a pretty good job otherwise.
Yeah, and they attend these workshops. Lindsay, what can they expect from the workshop? If you're seeing Larry and Lindsay for the first time in the Elder Advisors team.
Yeah, come anyway, please.
You need to attend one of these. Even if you've already been, go attend another one, because they're worthwhile. It is an entertaining process, but it's an informative process. What can people expect?
And I would say that's fair. It's a great statement. If you've come out to see us before, come out again. But, maybe it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. The information changes a little bit, as the laws and things like that change. But we can help so many people. And that's why I think we're really looking at expanding our reach. And that's why we're going to, is it Bardstown?
Nelson County, Bardstown. I'll be having lunch at Mamie's. Count on it.
We're going to Bardstown and just kind of, you know, making it easier for people to get to us, right? So they can come to Clarksville, they can come to Louisville. But if you're a little further out, a little bit on the outskirts, you know, you can come in and see us. Yeah, we're going to be in Corden in
next
May.
Tuesday.
What?
No. Yes, Corden is next week.
Okay. Oh, yes, that's right. Corden. Yes. So
Corden, Harrison County. You're important too.
What day is it? I don't know what's happening.
Harrison County. Not so much Autumn.
No, who am I? Okay.
Tracy.
Losing control quickly.
We're losing them. I love Corden, and we helped truly so many people in Corden last summer. I think we were there like in August and September.
Right.
And what we found was that for some folks, maybe not so Corden, but a little bit outlier, it's too far to drive to Clarksville. They didn't want to do that. So we're coming to you guys. And that's really the way we're doing our workshop, is the way we do our business, right? So we are making it as easy as possible for the clients. Protect assets, but provide peace of mind. And that's so important. And I love, you know, this is very complicated stuff. And I think our clients just deserve, and thus they get just the best customer support, the best service. We're always available, walking people. They've got questions. We've just got a great team.
I called you two the dream team, but at the end of the day, like I've met the people that are also in the office. I've met the Autumns and the Elijahs and Tim and Suzanne. I don't want to leave anybody if I'm forgetting. Kelly.
Marianne can't even find her way out of a paper bag today. So don't worry about Marianne.
But this can be a very daunting and tedious process for a lot of people. I'd love for you to tell me a little bit more about how you ease the burden of the paperwork that gets filed and the bureaucracy of all this.
I want to take this one. Can I take this one?
Yes.
This is a real.
Go ahead and take it, Tracy.
I love it when it's real life. Okay, so I had a client, and daughter was from Texas. Okay, and so mom's at the nursing facility, and she's running out of rehab days. And she's like, I'm like, can you come in and meet with us tomorrow at 10? And she's like, I can't. I have to go to Frankfurt to get the birth certificate. And I said, okay, you're not going to go to Frankfurt, right? Okay, you're going to come into the office at 10 and we've got you. And just to see that, but that's a real life, you know, the clients are out there, if they're not engaged in our services, they're chasing their tails and what do I need? And they're hitting brick walls everywhere. And we take that burden from the client. We walk them through step by step. This is what you do. We get most of it. And it's so great. It's great to have us in your corner.
Yeah.
People want that.
Yeah, and it's simplifying the process in a way that just makes so much sense for people. If you're not, seriously, I encourage you to go ahead, even if you can't attend a workshop, schedule a time to come meet with Larry and Lindsay and the rest of the team, because there's so much misinformation out there, and you guys are such a great hub for refining what people are hearing with what they can actually do.
I can't tell you how many times, because for husband and wife, Garrett, we can usually protect about all the assets for husband and wife. For a single person, about half. And then when it starts at the kitchen table, there's almost always a legal component. So we always make sure families have attorneys to help navigate the legal part, because I'm not an attorney. I'm also not a lumberjack. But I do help on the financial part, because a lot of this stuff starts at the kitchen table to get it lined up for that. But come out to the workshops, and you know, if you haven't figured out by now, Kentucky, I'm a little bit of a clown. You can say a clown. Look, I'm living. I'm not existing. I'm the time of my life. I've got 8 great people that work with me every day. Tracy's coming out on the next segment. Another great, you know, feather in our cap as we extend our resources to help families, because, you know, surprise, I don't know everything. And if I don't, I'm going to find people to get those answers, whether it's accounting questions or Medicare issues as well.
And you can learn more about that at the workshops. We're going to put that information up again when we come back for the break. We're also going to meet Tracy Thomas of Sovereign Seniors LLC with that other feather in the cap of the team at Elder Advisors. We'll be right back after this message. Back again with our friends at Elder Advisors, and joining us for this segment is Tracy Thomas, the owner of Sovereign Seniors. Welcome to the show, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. Quick, if you don't mind, give us a little overview about what Sovereign Seniors does as far as it pertains to, working with the Elder Advisors team and helping them with, protecting everyone's assets that they work with.
Yeah, so Sovereign Seniors is an insurance agency. Unlike a lot of other insurance agencies, though, that deal with multiple types of insurance, Sovereign Seniors only deals with the Medicare space. So all of my clients are either approaching age 65 or going on Medicare, or they are already on Medicare. So we actually work wonderfully with Elder Advisors from the aspect that is often the age group that they're dealing with as well. And some of the services that they provide just automatically link right into the insurance component, which is all we do.
And I think it's everything that we do, right, is nuance. So like Larry says all the time, know one thing and do it well. And this Medicare and the Medicare supplements and Medicare Advantage plans, that's just not something we're familiar with that we know, but through our networking and working really hard to stay up to date on everything that's happening in our community for the clients, for the demographic that we serve, we of course met Tracy, and it's just so important. And it's one of those things that she can help a lot of people. I'll let her talk about it, but a lot of the folks that are coming and doing like pre-planning with us, they're at that age where they're kind of approaching 65, and a lot of the folks that are doing crisis planning with us, it's time for them to take another look at their Medicare, because it's their health insurance, right? It's health insurance, essentially, is what it is.
And fundamentally, when I was meeting with families in a crisis plan or a pre-crisis plan where they came in, we're looking at the finances. This is before Lindsay came on board, and we pretty much did all that we could do. And then I would tell the family, I think you're as good as you can be, but if mom falls, she goes in the hospital, I need to be the first non-family member you call. Well, now that Lindsay's on board, she can help bridge that gap, being a personal care coordinator and advocating for families and finding resources that before they weren't aware of. And now that's the same thing that Tracy brings, because I can't tell you how many times people have asked me about Medicare, and I'm like, does that start with a P? Or I don't even know anything about Medicare. Now I can refer that to Tracy, because fundamentally I want the client help, whether it's accounting issues, tax issues, legal issues, real estate issues, Medicare, personal care. So that's why we continue to resource out to be able to help the client, so they're not so disjointed with everything.
Medicare is not going to be a very straightforward process for a lot of people. It's just kind of cooked into the way we live. Like, you're not, unless you're a professional in the industry, it's not like everyone's going to be applying for Medicare 50 times over the course of their life. I would love to hear more about the nuances, like we just talked about through Lindsay and Larry, that you see on a daily basis that makes it absolutely vital that somebody contact a professional when it comes to this process.
No, well, most people actually start with the thinking that you just mentioned, which is, I'm going to turn 65, I'm going to go on Medicare, it's going to be great. But then they start to look into it, which is why I brought this book.
Good for you.
It's a good read.
It's actually, this is Medicare and You that comes out with it every year, and it is, it's produced by the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services. This is the kind of the Bible when it comes to the rules and the products and everything that someone needs to know. So they first think, I'm going on Medicare, it's going to be great. Then they start looking into it, and it automatically gets a little scary and confusing. So people often wind up calling because they thought they could figure it out on their own, and they can't. And there are some loopholes and things to be careful of that you might not find as you're going through here that might apply to you.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some of the things that people, and this doesn't just apply to you, Tracy, in applying for Medicare, but what are the things in this whole process of protecting the things that you've worked so hard all your life to earn and save for your family? What are the processes, the parts of the process that are so commonly overlooked? And we can start with you, Larry, and work our way down, because I know this is so frequent.
That's good, yeah.
Well, I think really, since Tracy's here, I think there's a lot of belief that, well, once mom is on Medicaid, we don't need to have any health care or any kind of a supplement. And that could not be further from the truth. Could not be further from the truth, because that's one of the things that you are allowed to have, and we encourage people to have, because I believe even the state encourages you to have that. So that's one of the luxuries that they can have, is have a voice in their health care with their supplement. Is that right, ladies?
Yes, yeah, their health care coverage. Yeah.
And I think, too, when it comes particular to coverage, is that there's kind of this belief that, oh, I've got this, and then maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I might want to change my coverage. I might want to change what I have. it would be awesome in a perfect world if we could do that, but it's not that easy.
Yeah.
This book will tell you there's rules and there's time frames. There's sometimes where you're guaranteed something and other times where you're not. And so pre-planning for that can make it a lot easier when you do want to make a change in your coverage.
And I think it's just about being focused on what's happening. I mean, in other phases of our lives, maybe when we're younger, we're raising family, or we're starting out our career, we've got a real plan and we're moving forward. I'm a type A, I know what's happening next. And your life is going through a major change, whether you're retiring or you're not retiring. Between that 60 and 70, there's so much life change. And here's just a great, for example. My mother turned 65 and she wasn't taking any prescription drugs, right? So I was like, I don't need a prescription drug plan. I'm like, yeah, it sounds right to me. I don't know. Well, we called Tracy, we sit down, and it's like, if you don't take the plan at 65, you may not ever be able to get one. Well, that's mind-blowing. And so it's just so important for, as you're moving towards Medicare, these beautiful, beautiful benefits, that you make sure you're getting what you earned, what you deserve, and the same thing as you're moving through your estate plan and your finances and through the future. And it's just really kind of a full circle. And we talk about all this at the workshop. I mean, that's the main thing. Is like, come out to the workshop so you can like kind of start to get a handle on what's happening.
Hit these workshops one more time. They start next Monday, April 3rd. Larry, if you don't mind, take us through the workshops.
Kentuckiana, let's go. Next Monday, April 3rd, 10 a.m. at the Hilton Garden Inn on Crittenden Drive, right off exit 132 by the Cracker Barrel for Kentucky. Tuesday morning, contrary to what Lindsay was saying.
That says Clarksville.
And it should say Corydon. It will when we're back on Wednesday and Friday this week.
We're going to Corydon, people. Corydon.
On Tuesday, April 4th. And then Friday, Nelson County, Bardstown at the Hampton Inn. I'll be having lunch at Mamie's. Love Nelson County. We'll be there on Friday.
Call 855-LARRY-55. Suzanne usually picks up, or freeworkshop.com. And it's just, we just need your name and get.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
That's my website.
I was like, is that Mamie's? Is that where we're going?
I want to eat some.
Isn't that a good-looking website there?
Website. They look so happy there.
Hey, don't we have the kiddos to bring out?
We do have the kiddos to bring out. Before we're going to get to the kiddos in 1 second, I do want to make sure Tracy gets a chance to plug the Sovereign Seniors, make sure people know who to call and how to contact you.
Yes, if you are 64 and a half, if you are on any version of disability, or if you're already in the Medicare space, call Sovereign Seniors at 502-215-0881. I would be happy to help you, and our services are always free.
Elder advisors, and we have a couple of ladies that are joining us now.
It's spring break.
It's spring break for the Southern Indiana
all the working moms out there.
Working mothers.
Riley and Ronnie, but this is true. This is a family-oriented company. Family still comes first, and they're not
It
only.
certainly is, Garrett. We love children.
We are able to make sure that your family is protected. They will be happy to help whether you can attend those workshops or not. Make sure that you visit elderadvisors.com. We have to toss to a national announcement that is coming up right now on NBC. Guess who is back? Back again. Larry is back. Tell a friend. I'm excited to have.
It's like a penny. I just turned up. Hi, Kentuckiana. Don't go broke in a nursing home. You know why? Because you don't have to. It's that simple, Garrett.
Our friends from Elder Advisors, we got Larry Weiss and Autumn Schneider here. We got a bunch of great information about some new locations that I've been telling you about for the workshops in April coming up next week. But Larry was telling me between the break, he's got a very specific topic he wants to cover right now, a 4-letter word. Is that right?
Often what we find in our business of elder advisors, because we do help families protect assets so they don't go broke in a nursing home. For husband and wife, we can protect pretty much all the assets. For a single person, about one. And there's almost always a financial component, which is what elder advisors does. There may be a legal component, there may be a real estate component, or maybe a CPA component. I'm not an attorney. I'm also not lumberjack A.J. Fleming, who is a cut above everybody else. He's the man, okay? But
that was a low blow.
No, it wasn't. He's a beautiful man.
Cut above, lumberjack
He
puns.
is the man.
Let's go.
He has his own paper towels. They're called brawny paper towels. But don't go broke in a nursing home because you don't have to.
Get to the four-letter word. You're teasing us too much.
Well, the four-letter word is placement, because placement is such an incredibly difficult issue right now. I was on the phone with the family this morning, and Dad is so distressed over the placement, he's chosen to bring Mom back home, rather than the placement drama and stress that goes with it. And that's where we have our placement angel, Autumn Schneider, because people answer her phone, they get their cell numbers, she has theirs. Because usually when you call a lot of these communities, they don't even answer the phone. They're just so busy, or to return a call, they return Autumn's. Don't they, Autumn Schneider?
Yes, they do. And so if they are at a place and they just don't feel like it's home, it's going to be their forever home, that's where I can also jump in, which I will on this one. And we'll try to see, maybe they come home for a little bit, but also maybe we try to find a better home that would be better fitting for them. Yeah. So there's a lot to it than just, hey, I found a bed for you and it's here. Maybe you don't like that place. Maybe it's not the right fitting, and there's just a lot of different moving parts that go into it.
Yeah, I think this is a great example of just one of the many things that you all are able to advise. Elder advisors. You are consultants. You are somebody that is able. You are an entity that's able to guide people through the entire process of not just protecting assets, but making sure they're living out a retired life that they're happy with, they're proud of. Take us through some more of that, what goes into being able to be that turnkey solution for so many people.
Well, that really starts with the workshops, which are next Monday the 3rd in Louisville here at the Hilton Garden Inn, the 4th in Corridon, and then out on the 7th, which will be actually with a family tomorrow in Bardstown, Nelson County. Garrett, don't minimize Nelson County.
I would never.
Yes.
Dr. Don.
Dr. Don will be with Dr. Don tomorrow doing some paperwork and stuff. But then Friday the 7th will be in Bardstown doing a workshop at the Hampton Inn in Bardstown. But the workshops really start, and I tell the folks, there's 3 key questions I have to ask to start the program. You don't have to be honest with me, Kentuckiana, but you really need to be honest with yourself. The first key question is, how many friends have someone in a nursing home or about to go? Hands will go up. That's crisis planning. The house is burning down. That's what I alluded to a moment ago. We can protect those assets so they don't go broke at a nursing home. The second key question is, how many people have loved one at home, maybe getting some personal care, maybe getting some rehab, maybe the grandkids are spending the weekend with grandma because sometimes she falls, stuff like that. And if things don't play out in a certain way, we might have to look at placement in 6 or 8 months. Additional hands go up. That's pre-crisis planning. And the third variables, which is what you alluded to, Garrett, is basically I ask families, now this is when everybody's hand will go up and some now more than once. I say, how many people simply want to avoid these problems for themselves and give themselves peace of mind and protect their children so they don't have to go through this? Then everybody's hands goes up. You know what that is, Kentuckiana? That's pre-planning. That's proactive planning. Get ahead of it.
And that's a gift. In a lot of ways, that is a gift to you, the people that you love that are important in your life, that you are able to designate what's going to happen before you ever have to really start shopping nursing homes or
just
finding
at
the
least
nursing
get
homes.
some things in order and some documents, things like that'll help us later, so that when you're in what we call the crisis mode, your hair's not really on fire. You have more of a plan. Something's better than nothing, but we always recommend to come out and learn about those things that you may need, the tools, to do those things. Whether it's now you've got to jump in, find a nursing home bed, because it's a really hard thing. The families, you don't want to put anybody in a nursing home. That's just nothing anybody wants to do. And it's hard, and to come in and get that little bit of advice of, we'll hold your hand and make sure you find somewhere that you're comfortable with, and then also help you with the tools that you need to do this and accomplish it. It's really good.
It's hard, but it's also hard to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single month
to do that.
To be in those nursing homes. So it is a hard topic to really address in a lot of ways. It can be something that's difficult to address, but it's going to happen in your lives, people. And if you attend a workshop with elder advisors, I've been to one myself. They are fun. They are engaging. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions. So I'd love for you to explain a little bit more about that, Larry, is how you approach these workshops so that not only is it informative, not only is it efficient with people's times, but it's something that they are going to take lessons away from no matter what.
Absolutely. You know, a long journey begins with its first step. And the problem is, look, we're all human. You know, we all write our little grocery list in the back of an envelope, and half the time we get out of our car, go back inside to make sure we got enough milk or yogurt or bread. But we spend all this time on the minutia, the silly things of life that really don't have a shelf life of anything. But we spend very little effort trying to protect what we spent a lifetime working for. You know, Dad worked at Philip Morris, Dad worked at Ford, Mom worked at Humana. Whatever the case is, they worked their whole lifetime, and if some very basic planning is not done, it can all disappear and just turn into big aggravations for families. So that's the benefit of coming out to the workshop. It's about an hour and a half. It's fast paced. We've got next week CPA tax attorney Bob Marshall with the Kentucky folks for both Louisville and down in Bardstown, and then for Cordon we've got attorney Laura Williams, because there's almost always a legal component, and I want the attorneys there to deal with legal issues, because I'm not an attorney. I'm also not a lumberjack, AJ, but these are the things that we do to help. And you know what? Look, we have a lot of fun, and you know, 95% of people get me. There's 5%. Well, I don't really. That guy's kind of odd. He is odd. Okay, he is odd because I'm living. I'm not existing. This is tough stuff. I am truly blessed. I love what I do. I've got 7 great people that work with me every day. We now have a master level social worker on staff. Lindsay's a board certified patient care advocate. So it's not more than just, you know, before it was just, we'll take the finances and deal with the stress. But it's also the component of healthcare, the different home resource options that Lindsay and Marianne bring to the table. And there's Autumn. We'll be in a meeting and her phone will go off and go, oh, look, you know, Jane called. She just texted me. They got 2 beds at ABC Nursing Home. I'm like, wow, we've been waiting for days, and it happens in real time.
Yeah,
it's just really amazing.
The connections this team have are incredible, and I encourage you to lean on them. Real quick, we've got a very short amount of time. If you don't mind hitting the workshops one more time, please.
Kentucky on a Monday. A long journey begins at its first step. April 3rd at the Hilton Garden Inn in Louisville, 10 a.m. off exit 132 next to Cracker Barrel. Tuesday, April 4th, down in Cordon at the Holiday Inn Express out in front of the license branch. And Friday, we're coming to Nelson County, Bardstown. Friday the 7th, 10 a.m. at the Hampton Inn in Bardstown. Be there. Let's have some fun. Go to freeworkshop.com, 855-LARRY-55. It answers all of your questions, people. freeworkshop.com.
Larry, Autumn, thank you as always. We appreciate you being here. We will be right back after a short break to talk with actor Eddie McClintock about a new movie he has coming out exclusively on PureFlix this Friday. We'll be right back.